and they become a victim of any crime, then we'll investigate that. Some of those cases consist of child exploitation. That's the image of a child being abused sexually, being shared throughout the world and the state of Tennessee. The big one now is sextortion, which I'll hit on here later. What else? We have high harm groups, also known as 764, that we investigate. But we're very busy with 4 agents throughout the whole state. When I started in about 2017, we were getting about 30 cases a month, so about 1 case a day. Right now, we're about over 100 cases a month that just our 4 agents have to investigate throughout the state, involving children that are being harmed online and or subjects here in the state of Tennessee that are harming children.
Lieutenant, I'd love for you to kind of give us a sense of this data here in terms of the trends that we're seeing here in the whole state of Tennessee.
Thank you. I'm Lieutenant Andrew Boatman of the Knoxville Police Department. I'm the commander of the Tennessee ICAC Task Force. We operate under a grant from the Office of Criminal Justice Programs and a federal grant from the Office of Department of Justice, Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Programs. We have 73 affiliate agencies across the state. TBI is our contract partner and our lead affiliate. Together with our 73 affiliates, we all investigate child exploitation facilitated by technology. And as Rob was saying, our caseload has increased to a monumental degree in the last several years. We currently are looking at over 3,000 cases referred to us this month alone from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. For the year, we're over 22,000 cases sent to Tennessee, and those are divvied out amongst our 73 affiliates. Of course, TBI is carrying the brunt of that load, along with Nashville PD and Memphis PD, Knoxville, and Hamilton County. What we're seeing most of all is online enticement of minors using social media apps such as Instagram, Snapchat. The most nefarious of all of the online enticement cases, as Rob mentions, is sextortion cases, which uses the child's own greatest fears against them and puts them in danger to probably the greatest extent that we have seen in our field in a long time. As those cases continue to grow, we continue to try to utilize our resources across the state to the best of our ability, but our resources have not grown nearly to keep pace with the trend that our caseload has grown. As I said, we're looking at over 22,000 cyber tips for the state so far this year. That's an increase since 2020 of over 140% caseload increase in just that short period of time. So far this year, our investigators across the state have made over 200 arrests for perpetrators of child exploitation and have rescued 22 live victims from ongoing abuse. So our folks are doing good work. They're saving children, and they need this support from both the state and federal governments. That's all I have for now.
Thank you. Rob, if you would, I'd love for you to kind of talk a little bit about what we've seen here at the Bureau in terms of cyber tips.
Yeah. When we say cyber tips, I think it's important to, it's not just a tip, it's an actual case that has to get worked. It's a case that involves a child and or subject here in the state of Tennessee that is being exploited online. Just for the state, what was this? Was that for this year, 2025?
Yeah, as of last week.
Yep. So this is through pretty much as of Friday. The state's already received over 21,000 cases involving child exploitation here in the state of Tennessee, and TBI's received 987 as of Friday. These are the top companies that we at TBI have seen, Kik and Snapchat. Kik is another chat application that users use to either talk to children online or to talk to each other to trade child exploitation material. So the big thing that I really want to emphasize today is sextortion. To understand what sextortion is, it usually involves a child between the ages of 12 to 17 is what we're seeing, mostly in males. And I think that's because males are quicker to send that nude photograph to a complete stranger. We definitely see our share in female victims in this too. So how sextortion works is usually that child gets a message, mostly on Instagram or Snapchat. It can just start off as a hey, and then that child begins to talk to them. Conversations, once that grooming process forms, the conversations turn sexual, and then the person on the other end usually says, hey, I'll send you a nude photograph if you send me one. Once that child sends a nude photograph, they always ask for the face of the child in the photograph. What they're doing in the background is they're collecting that child's friends lists off of that, say Instagram. They're collecting all the Instagram friends lists of that child. A lot of times I have them jump to another platform to chat, like Snapchat, and then they'll collect that child's friends list from there. Once that child sends that nude photograph, that child then receives a screenshot of the nude photograph that they just sent, along with a list of all their friends. It can involve all their teachers, family, priests, pastors, anybody. And then they immediately say, hey, if you don't send me more nude photographs of yourself or a gift card, then I'm going to send this to everybody, and they're going to know what you do online. Put yourself back as a 12, 13-year-old. That's scary, right? A lot of these kids, they're not going to run to their parents, which they should. They keep it to themselves. They go, they steal money, or they'll wipe out their whole savings accounts. They'll buy those gift cards and then send them to the bad guy on the other end. What we're seeing a lot is, I know in the state of Tennessee and around the U.S. and the world, is these subjects on the other end literally tell these kids, hey, you have nothing else to live for, so you might as well kill yourself, because we know and your family's going to know exactly what you do on the internet. And unfortunately, some of these kids do choose that route. So we here, I know with the ICAC, in the ICAC world, we take sextortion very seriously because there is a child on the other end who could potentially end up committing suicide because of this. The biggest thing is if it happens, that child needs to know that you're not going to get in trouble by law enforcement. You have to tell somebody. You have to tell a trusted adult, whether that's a teacher, an SRO, contact a local police department, your parents, anybody who that child feels safe to go to. That child can't go through this whole thing alone. That's the most dangerous part of this. A lot of these are financial sextortion, is usually groups out in Western Africa are usually the subjects. However, here in Tennessee, we have plenty of subjects that have been the bad guy on the other end, sextorting children. And the best place to take screenshots, report, block that user. If you're a parent, don't get on and become mama bear and start yelling and arguing, because that's not going to help. Just block that center, stop all communications, take screenshots for evidence, and then report that to law enforcement. And then the biggest thing is report it. You call TBI, or you can report it to CyberTip, the cybertipline.org, which is Nick Mick's main website for cyber tips.
we wanted to give parents 10 apps to watch, right? Kids have a lot of devices, kids have a lot of mobile apps, and so we wanted to provide some good information about the apps that we want parents to know might be out there.
Yep. Again, this is just 10 apps that we kind of chose. There's pretty much all the apps. If you can communicate on an application, then it can potentially be dangerous for a child. And these bad guys know where these children live online, and so they do the same. So one of the first ones is Be Real, and all these we've had cases on. And usually there are platforms where you can groom a child, sextort a child, or exploit a child, sending and sharing the nude photographs of that child. So Be Real is one of them. Discord, I'm sure you've heard a lot about Discord in the news lately. This is a big one for, especially with the 764 groups, the high harm child exploitation groups throughout the world. And then Kick, that's another chat app. The biggest thing with these 10 apps is just for that parent to maybe recognize what the app looks like on the kid's phone. The biggest thing with these is if you're unsure what these apps do for your child, download them yourself and figure it out and look at it. Can you video chat? Can you chat via text? Can you share photos? Is there a location automatically set on all these apps? That's things that parents should look for. Roblox is a huge one. This is where kids go to play games. Just remember that these kids might maybe have like an innocent game, but you can search throughout Roblox and find any inappropriate type of community that any user can just create. And then a child can just search that keyword and then instantly be on that. And then Snapchat, this is probably one of the most cyber tips that we get, just because kids are using Snapchat. And these bad guys know that kids are using Snapchat, so they're on it too. And then TikTok and Instagram. Like I said, this is a lot where sextortion kind of begins. We get a lot of cases where sextortion stems from Instagram. And then Yubo. I don't know if many people hear this, but this is kind of like Tinder for kids. Kids can go there. A lot of our tips that we've gotten, this is where people are sending and receiving payments for child exploitation material. They're using Yubo. And then Twitch, it's the online gaming server. It's very popular with kids for computer games. But also there's a chat feature, so we get a lot of grooming and online enticement through Twitch. And then Telegram, it's the end-to-end encryption, where nothing good happens on Telegram. Let's just say that. This is where kids and bad guys can communicate with each other, and it's all end-to-end encryption. They send, share CSAM material to one another using Telegram.
And if you would please say what CSAM stands for.
CSAM is the new. So we're not calling it child pornography anymore. CSAM is child sexual abuse material. We're going to call it what it is. And then this is a really good site for parents. It's protectyoungeyes.com/apps, but it shows pretty much all the major popular applications out there that kids are using. And there's at least 100 probably. And what you can do is go in, you click on each app, and it'll tell you and give you an explanation of what that app does, the dangers, is it safe for kids, is it not safe for kids, anything about that app regarding child safety. So that's a really good, useful site.
We'll talk about Canine Marvel in a moment, but first, Rob, before we step away from this conversation around apps, tell me a little bit about why parents should be invested on what's on their kids' devices. You're a dad yourself.
Yep. Yep. So I have two kids myself, and obviously being a parent in the real world is hard enough. And now we got to figure out how to be a parent in the online world. It's important to know what that app does because, like I said earlier, is a lot of us, maybe our kids will take their device, they'll download an app that their friends talk about at school, and then we have no idea what it does. But in the end, maybe they're sharing pictures. Maybe it's a video app where you randomly get paired with a stranger throughout the world. That's stuff that our kids should not be using. So again, sit down with your child, have them explain what that app does. And if you don't like it, if you don't approve, then tell them not to use it. Is that kind of explained?
I think so. Thank you. Probably open it up for questions in a bit, and I'm sure you folks will have some, but I'd like to introduce Special Agent Claire Haldwine and the newest member of our team, K9 Marvel. So if you would, Claire, just tell us a little bit about Marvel. How did we get Marvel, and what's he do, and how's he help?
Hi, my name is Claire Haldwing. I'm a special agent, obviously here at Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. I'm in our Internet Crimes Against Children unit, and I am also K9 Marvel's handler. Marvel is an electronic storage detection canine and also a therapy dog. So we are fortunate enough to be provided Marvel through the United States Secret Service Nashville field office. We have a really great partnership with our federal partners. And the United States Secret Service had me go down to Alabama to one of their facilities to participate in the training with Marvel. And that training was put on by Todd Jordan with Todd Jordan Detection Canine. Marvel is, as an electronic storage detection canine, his job is to find any electronic devices that a suspect may have hidden. Not even just suspects, it could be victims if their phone gets thrown off in a field, whatever it may be. Marvel is able to work to find those devices. And what he is looking for, there's a chemical in all of these devices called triphenylphosphine oxide, and that is what he sniffs out. So he is able to find electronic devices in water, in fields, in houses. A lot of suspects sometimes like to disguise USBs or memory cards, whatever it may be, in kids' toys or in candy bars or in ceilings or in the water, floorboards, and he's able to work to sniff that out. And the reason Marvel is not currently alerting me on any of the electronic devices is because he works for food. He's food motivated. So when he sees the food bag come out and I tell him we're going to go to work, that's when he knows to start working and sniffing for the electronic devices. And then he is also a therapy dog. So if we have victims that need extra support in their interviews, he's able to go and sit with them and lay down with them, provide them comfort. And not only for the victims, but here at TBI or other agencies as well for investigators, since not every day is easy for us, and we do see a lot of gruesome things. So he's also here to provide therapy for us as well.
You've had Marvel for just a few weeks. What's his personality?
Couple months now. Yeah.
Thank you. So what's his personality like? What makes him a good agent?
He's very determined. He loves his job. When he knows it's time to go to work, he's ready to go to work. Sometimes I don't even have to start directing him. He will just start working and sniffing out, especially in open fields. He loves to do open fields, and he'll just start guiding me and pulling me in the direction that he's smelling the device. So I would say he's very determined. When he's not working, he's just a normal dog. He loves to play with his friends. He loves to chase the ball. He has a really fun personality. He's pretty funny, and I would say a bubbly personality as well.
Great. Thank you so much. Do want to make you aware of this website as well. Netsmarts.org is a great resource the Bureau always points parents to. There are great age-appropriate resources to really have some good conversations with your kids about technology. I'd love for our three speakers, if you would, just kind of approach the lectern here, because what we'll do is we'll open it up for your questions. What do you guys have for our folks here?
Rob, you had mentioned the increase in cases over the years. So as an agency, what have y'all done to try to meet the demand in a sense?
So since 2007, we've always had 4 agents working ICAC. And here we are at 2025 with 4 agents and 1 supervisor. So what we can do best is pretty much triage. That's the biggest thing that we do, is we triage and look for the worst of the worst cases that need to be worked, kind of like in a priority order. Unfortunately, they all involve a child, so to us, they're all priorities, but with 4 agents that cover the whole state, and then receiving over 100 cases a month. I mean, if you do the math, it's kind of it's hard. So we do the best we can. I know each of our agents have a huge caseload. And then on top of that, we're constantly going to schools, community groups to promote education on ICAC. So, does that answer?
Y'all mentioned earlier about referring to the perpetrators as bad guys, but I think a lot of people don't think about that. I guess could females also be the perpetrator as well? I guess in your investigations, what do you see? Maybe is there ratio male, female, or it's just something that people don't often think about?
Yeah.
That guy.
I think I don't have numbers, but I would say it's majority of male crime, if you would agree. We do have plenty of female offenders too. I think what we've noticed is female offenders usually don't tend to kind of document their crime as kind of like males do. Males document their crime, and to them it's kind of like a treasure. Is how the best way I can explain it.
Do you guys ever, do you all, I guess you catch people, have you called anybody, have you took anybody in custody, and have you all been, second question, have you all done any legislation like they have in other states to make the crime even more, I guess? I interviewed up in Georgia one time, and we met with 3 people, and their son had killed himself, and that's what they were trying to get new legislation to, if they find the person, that they could
Yep.
full extent of the law.
Yeah, I think I know last month our unit, especially our agent out east, had 5 arrests involving child exploitation. Here in Middle, we've had a couple indictments that have happened this month alone, and then we have plenty of stuff, planned for future events. What was the second part? Sorry.
Legislation, maybe property legislation should try to get something that makes it.
Yeah, one thing I'm personally looking for, I realize Tennessee doesn't really have a good sextortion law, so that's something that I'm kind of kicking around right now with another agent, and then my goal is to hopefully get something for Tennessee involving sextortion, just because of the amount of increase that we've seen here at the state.
Yeah, I have a couple of things on that. Statewide, our agents have, our investigators with the ICAC task force have made over 200 arrests this year. 62 of those arrests were hands-on offenders. They were actually making contact offenses against children in their sphere. And the remainder of those were exploiting children online or trading in CSAM material. But over 200 arrests so far this year, with plenty of time left to go in the year. And when it comes to legislation, we're constantly in contact with state legislatures, with Director Roush, chiefs of police across the state, Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police, and Sheriff's Association, to try to impact legislation going forward. Just recently, Representative Littleton was able to pass a law in Tennessee just a couple of years ago that Director Roush and the chiefs of police helped to craft to make computer-generated, AI-generated CSAM prosecutable under state law. That continues to develop. Another AI law was passed again in this last legislative session. And that's something that we're continually looking at to add teeth to that. Speaking on sextortion in particular, we're a little bit behind the curve there, not only at the legislative level, but across the spectrum in law enforcement. Even as far up as the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, we're still looking at, as ICAC commanders across the country, how we can better categorize and capture those cases as financial sextortion or sextortion for images, because as they are now, they're categorized in a more broad category of online enticement, which means it's a little bit hard to capture some of that data. So that's something that, as working groups on the national level, we're combating every day and trying to find ways forward so that we're more able to address that specifically.
I forgot to add something about Marvel. Is that okay? Okay. The other thing about Marvel is we not only, so we serve the whole state of Tennessee, so we don't only serve TBI, we also serve our state, local, and federal partners if they ever need our assistance, whether it's for him looking for devices or for him to be a therapy dog for victims or witnesses.
Who is he, I guess, who is he connected with, though? Who does he work for?
So he was provided to us by the Secret Service, but he is a TBI, electronic storage detection K9, and I'm his handler.
So it's TBI,
Yes.
but y'all work with everyone.
Yes, sir.
He's an actual agent. He has his own creds.
Yeah.
He looks like it right now.
Oh, yeah. He's got the best job.
I have two quick questions. One about Marvel. So I know you mentioned you only had him for a few months now. So I imagine that he has not gone on any active cases or helped actually successfully find anything on an active case, or is that not the case?
So we are ready to go. We've been ready. So at anytime we get a call, we're able to go out and help. He was already trained before I got him. So our training was focused on us training together and building that bond. So, and like I said, he is rewarded by food. So we train every day. Right now, I'm currently training him about 3 to 5 times a day. So in order for him to get his full serving of food, I need to hide devices, or a coworker hide devices, whoever it may be, for us to go search for them so that he can get his full serving of food.
Does he go home with you?
He does, yeah. He's with me 24/7.
The second question I was going to ask, and this is generally for any of you. I know you guys talked about the 4 agents and how that's obviously been a difficult situation with the amount of caseload. Has there been any conversation amongst your team or the TBI to look at, now that you're seeing your caseload skyrocket so much, has there been talk about how do we increase our volume of agents or work on that?
Yep. I think every year we always put in requesting for more agents. So at that point, it's just a matter of the budget and what they decide to do. So, yep.
Anything else from you folks?
In closing, I would love for whoever wants to address this question, just tell us